Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this from. I'd like to thank you for joining the Microsoft 365 Community Conference Workshop Preview Series. Whew, that's a mouthful. Powered by our strategic partner at Betechly. This series is in its second week, ending its second week of a 3-week run. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we feature a sneak peek into the workshop scheduled for the main event in Orlando this April, the Microsoft 365 Community Conference. If you're watching live on one of our streaming channels and you'd like to discover a little bit more about what is coming up in the future, we have a bunch next week, and then we're also going to be following up with this workshop preview series with session and topic discussions in February and March. So check out the QR code that Terry popped up there. Go there, and that will have the full schedule as it is revealed over the next couple of weeks. We mostly hope that we can see you there in person in Orlando at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference. And I guess without any further ado, even though I've tried to delay it as long as possible, I'd like to introduce our presenters, David Warner and Hugo Bernier.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Microsoft 365 Community Conference Workshop Preview. My name is David Warner. Now, listen, everybody, I know so far all you've been seeing is a bunch of demos and presentations that have been incredible and awesome. Today's going to be a little different. We're going to let you in on a little secret. Our workshop together, myself with Hugo Bernier, are super interactive. We are always engaging with the audience. And right now, we're kind of just talking to you one way. So we decided to make this a little different, to give you a preview on what we're going to talk about in the workshop, above and beyond what you can read on the website. We are going to treat this like it's a little late night infomercial. So I'm going to play the hapless consumer that doesn't know how to fix things. Not a stretch for me, right? And then Hugo, the incredible brainiac, is going to show me where I'm going wrong and how I can improve things. And along the way, we're going to discuss some of the topics that we're going to go over in the workshop. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Are you ready? Ready to join me? Okay, let's get going. Welcome to Mission UX, decoding the science of user experience in Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. This is your preview for the workshop. I'm your host, David Warner, and today I'm super excited to tell you more about our workshop. Let me get in. Folks, are you tired of users not using your apps? Are your users always asking where the save button is? Are your users asking for training that takes longer than it took to develop the app? Are people in your organization doing everything they can not to use your app, even though it's the only way to get the work done? Well, let me introduce my co-presenter, Hugo Bernier, who's going to tell us more about this workshop. Hugo, how are you today?
Hey, David. I'm wonderful, thank you. David, you and your users can stop suffering. There is a better way.
Okay, now, Hugo, I built this app. It's got all the features. It looks like a NASA space shuttle, interface with all these bells and whistles, buttons everywhere, dials, cool things, features galore, but my users don't like my app. Why do they not like my app? Do I have to make my apps pretty like an artiste?
No, even if your app is pretty, your users are not going to use it if they feel stupid when they're using it.
What?
Yeah. Let me give you an example using real life scenario. Let me show you this.
Okay.
All right. Let's show the screen. Cool. There you go. All right. So, David, have you ever tried to open the door only to push when you should pull or pull when you should push? How
Only
embarrassed
twice
did you feel?
today. I mean, yeah. Sorry.
So how did you feel?
Pretty bad. I mean, I kind of felt like looked around to see if anybody noticed, and then I just kind of left.
Yes. Well, that happens all the time, right? And you feel stupid when you do it. You might never go back to that place because you're so ashamed if there's a lot of people. But you're not alone. This is a common issue, and it's actually got a name. It's been highlighted by Don Norman in the book The Design of Everyday Things, and we're going to talk a lot about that stuff today.
So yeah. So what you're
Go ahead.
saying is that even if I make a pretty app, my users won't like the app if it makes them feel bad or like they're not smart or something. Well, so if that's the case, what's the solution? Do I have to get new users, Hugo?
Well, let me show you what I mean, right? So
Okay.
there is an established convention that the shape of the door handle is supposed to indicate what you're supposed to do, right? The direction of the door. If there's something that you can grab, it's usually a pull. If there's nothing to grab, it's usually a push. So a pull handle affords pulling, and a vertical bar or loop, right, will tell you that it invites you to wrap your fingers around and open the door. It's muscle memory, and it says grab and pull. A push plate affords pushing, and it's a flat plate, no grip, no leverage. It invites you to apply palm pressure. Well, these are visual hints. They're called affordances. They're just clear visual or tactile cues that tell the users how to interact with an object. And it happens every day in real life. But these cues are critical for creating intuitive experiences in both physical products and digital interfaces. In fact, what happens though is when you have the designers that are trying to be cute, right? Then they try to do something that is they're focusing on making it pretty over making it useful. So, for example, a pull handle in both cases, but one that requires pushing, one that requires pulling. Everyone pulls, and they pause, and they feel annoyed, and that's something that's called a Norman door, after Don Norman. So the convention that says whether the door is a pull or a push is not respected, and it makes the experience unnatural and annoying. Now, go ahead.
Did I ever tell you I once had a neighbor named Don and another one named Norman? It must have been the same person.
Have a door.
Yeah, they had doors.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So what happens, right? Does your user feel that, okay, this looks grabbable, this is something that could be pushed and pull and whatever? So what people, the designers, right, they try to be cute. So they'll put a sign that says push or pull. Now, how often do you actually look at that sign? If you need a sign, the affordance has already failed. And that's something that we see in, there's the pull or push buttons here, but that's something we see all the time in our applications. People will put buttons and they're like, it's not really clear enough. Let's put documentation, right? So we hide bad design with even crappier documentation. Now,
okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, come on, you go ahead.
Okay. So again, am I still supposed to get new users here? I'm not quite sure.
So, no, you don't have to get new users. What you should do is you actually should build apps that make people feel smarter. And in fact, that's something that a lot of organizations take advantage of, and they make billions of dollars doing that.
I don't know, Hugo. I find that hard to believe.
Well, you should believe it. It's in the script.
Oh,
Whatever.
okay.
But
Sorry.
let me show you what I mean, right? So let's go back to our slides here. So you've probably seen these games before. You know, so they always do the same thing. No matter what that game is, there's a lot of games like this, but they always do the same thing. They show you a game that seems like it would be fun, maybe easy to play, and they usually have a puzzle. And they usually show you the rules of the game by playing a little bit, but then they always fail. And you've been learning the rules, and then you see them do something stupid, and you're like, oh no, I could have done better. I would have clicked on that little thing instead, or I would have gone this way instead. And so what happens when you see that? Again, you want to do better, so you download the game. But the problem is the game rarely does what it's supposed to do. But it doesn't matter, because what they want is they want to trick people into spending money. So Here's an example, right? If they have 100 million downloads and the majority of users don't spend money on their game, but some users, well, most users, they'll just play, they'll realize the game is nothing like what they expected. So they'll uninstall it after playing a few hours. But there's a small percentage of people who will spend a little bit of money here and there just to make the game more fun. And then there's a handful of people that will spend an astronomical, if I can say that word, a large amount of money, so much that it makes up for all the other people not spending money on the game. And that's a term that's called whales. And so in a small group, there's 2% of the people that will spend all the money, and it makes up for all the other money that's not spent. Now, if you think about it, 2% of $100 million or 100 million is 2 million whales. If game companies can convince you to spend your money, look at how much money in 2025 the top three publishers made. That's a lot of money. If they can convince you to spend your money on fake games that don't even exist, but they make you feel smart, right? Because you're like, I could do better. You can take advantage of that same logic. In fact, there's a reason why since 2024, New York Games is more of a gaming company than it is a newspaper company.
I love
Because,
Wordle.
well, exactly, right? It makes you feel
Yeah.
smart when you get it. Now, when you don't get it, you don't feel so smart. But again, there's better luck tomorrow. In fact,
That's true. I remember that day in last July when I got one right. That was awesome.
that's right. I
Yep.
know you were telling everybody.
Yes.
On LinkedIn has always struggled to have people come back, right? Because you just connect with coworkers or former coworkers, but then you don't really have a reason to go back to LinkedIn. So the reason why LinkedIn recently introduced games that you have to play every day because it makes you feel smart. And look at this, right? If you see something like this that says you outplayed 99% of players worldwide today, how good do you feel about that? You feel smart. What do? You come back to the app. And so we're going to leverage that in our app design.
Okay, so I got it. Totally makes sense to me now. What you're saying is that we need to write games for people to fall in love with our apps, right? So we need to do like App Attack or App Crush or something like this to take advantage of how the human brains work, right? Some sort of Candy Crush interface, maybe something like that. Am I understanding this right?
Not quite. You don't
Oh,
really need to write games for your users to fall in love with your apps, right? What those game companies take advantage of is an understanding of how the human brain works. So in our workshop, we're going to explain the psychology of user experience, how the brain works, and we'll show you how that understanding of how we perceive things to create user experiences that seem natural, intuitive, and make your users fall in love with your apps.
I tell you what, I love how in our workshop we show slides that will predict exactly where you're going to look and what choices you're going to make. It's almost like we're controlling the brain. Those are honestly my favorite slides. I get so excited. So, are we going to use psychology to make applications pretty? Because I'm not that artistic, right? But I can wear a beret and I can get like a cool mustache. How can you make me talented in just a day?
Well, see, making apps pretty is more about the user interface or UI, and it requires talent. It requires some sense of design. But making apps that are user friendly is more about user experience, UX. In our workshop, we focus on user experience and we give you the rules that you can apply to any application that you're building that are based on those scientific principles. It's science, right? It has nothing to do with talent. Even if you're not talented, we'll show you how the rules work. We'll help you understand how your users feel, and we'll show you how to apply those rules when you're building your apps. Trust me, we'll show you rules that you'll see everywhere after the workshop.
Science! Right, sorry, I had to do that. So, super excited because we've been giving this workshop for a few years now. And every year at the conference, we have people who attend the workshop and tell us they can't stop seeing these rules that we've essentially like unveiled from the blinders that they had up. They see them everywhere. I once had a lady come up to me after the workshop and she said, "I hate you." And I said, "Get in line, okay?" And of course, she said, "I see these rules now everywhere." So, obviously there's something to them, I think, right?
Yeah, when she said she hated you, I the first thing I thought was I didn't know your mom attended the workshop, but
Oh, I know. I had to pay for it too, let me tell you. But, we cover a lot of content in the workshop and a lot of theory, and we do make sure that the workshop is not boring at all, right?
yes, we do cover a lot of content. And when we introduce a new concept, we usually show you how the concept feels first. Then usually we do that with an interactive exercise, and then we explain to you why you felt this way when you experienced it, and then we show you how to apply the principle in your apps.
So then, okay, principle, theory, perfect. So you're going to tell me exactly where to put my buttons, right? Like top left, bottom right. Should I have them floating? Should there be, I don't know, a hidden menu that I can't find? Because you mentioned games, right?
No, David, we're not here to micromanage your buttons.
But I need button instructions. I like big buttons, and I cannot lie.
Dave, button placement is not a recipe. It's a response to human cognition. We'll show you how the brain looks for those actions so you can make the right choices yourself.
Okay, so the workshop is not a button map. I thought we would have like some sort of like scavenger hunt.
No, no. If anything, it's a science lab for brains.
Okay, hold on. You're saying that UX is psychology? So back to my mother again? Like I have to tell you about my history?
um, it's more about cognitive psychology, behavioral economics, perception science, anything your users bring with them when they use your app.
So then I don't have to guess where they're going to click because I've lost a lot of bets.
Yeah, no. Guessing is a strategy for maybe coin flips, not user interfaces.
Oh, that explains my career. Okay. What else do you have for me?
Well, because we understand how your brain works, we can actually protect your behavior as a user. For example, we know that the brain fills in missing information and how it affects how we look at the screen, how we read the content, and how much or how little we read. Let's do a quick experiment, if you will. Let's share
Okay,
my screen.
I'm ready.
All right, you
We're going to
ready?
cut through a penny. Are we going to cut through a penny? Oh.
All right. So read this slide.
Paris in the spring. Oh, wait. Paris in, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. So what's wrong, right? Most people miss the duplicated the, but why it works? It's because it's something called good continuation. Your brain skips expected patterns, and it proves that perception, how you saw the text here, is more predictive. It's not precise. They're a default of how we perceive information. So if you don't design with that in mind, your brain will design for you, and your brain will make a conclusion that might not be the conclusion you want. In fact, let's try another little exercise. David, I'm gonna need you here. All right, blink as fast as you can.
Okay, I did.
Did you do it?
I was so fast
Okay.
you didn't even notice it.
No, I didn't
Right?
notice it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So by the time you were halfway done with your blink, that was about 50 milliseconds. And there's research that shows that on average, when your users look at your app, that's how long it takes for them to decide whether they like your app or not. So this is a great way to understand that, like, this is not something that your users will learn to like your app or things like that. They immediately decide whether they like your app, and that's really hard to understand. But again, in our workshop, we'll explain all that stuff. All
Wow,
right.
that blew my mind. Are these exercises like you just did an example of what we're going to do in the workshop with our attendees?
Not really. The exercises are more interactive and visual. Again, we wanted to do exercises here that were representative, but with just the two of us. We also didn't want to take the surprise away from our workshop attendees, because there's going to be a lot of things that will shock you when we show you experiments and things like that. You won't believe your eyes.
Shocking. Okay, so I should bring my laptop, because what we're going to do is we're going to build a perfect app, right? Together?
No, you don't actually need to bring your laptop, because we're not building apps in this workshop.
Wait, what?
We're building intuition. We're building competence. We're building clarity, right? The app that you build or the apps that you want to build is the app that you're going to build when you go home after the workshop.
Okay, so no perfect app today we're going to build by the end of the day.
No, just perfect understanding. We're not teaching you how to build one app. We're teaching you how to build every single app that you will build for the rest of your life.
Wow, that is amazing. So what topics do we cover, Hugo, in this workshop?
How much time do we have? We cover so much. Again, how we perceive information, how we read, how to lay out an app for best experience, how to use a grid design system, how grid systems work, how to pick the colors in your app, and where those colors come from, right? Do you have a corporate color to start from, or do you just randomly pick a color? We show you lots of example apps, good and bad. We even do kind of pretend apps with paper and things, where we're trying to focus on understanding things like, things like accessibility, microcopy, micro animations.
Okay, yes, microcopy, micro animations. So teeny tiny fonts, right? They're so cute. And then little things that kind of jump around, right? Like emojis. That's what you mean, right?
No, it's font size is not the hill that we die on, David.
Oh, okay. I was just
Microcopy
joking.
is,
Yeah, I was just
yeah,
joking, obviously. Yeah.
I know, because you've attended the workshop yourself. So, um,
A few
but no,
times.
microcopy is really about guiding the thought, right? Micro animation is about guiding attention. We'll show
So,
you tricks. Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So what you're saying is that users will know what to do without asking, because the guide.
Yeah, it's going to be instinctive. Users will see the app and they'll interact with it without even thinking about it, because it's going to be so natural.
Okay, so small text is not the future. Let me adjust my manifesto then. Okay.
No, small text is really how your users will revolt.
Makes sense. Explains a
Yeah.
lot.
We'll also show you using micro animations, for example. We'll show you how we can help you, or you and your users, perceive time differently. So you can actually make applications feel faster by just using some micro animation tricks. So those things are not gratuitous. They're not reserved for games. They're part of a good user experience design.
Awesome. So what's it cost me?
Well, David, how would you pay? How much would you pay for this workshop that, again, you'll be able to use for every app that you'll ever build moving forward, whether they're SharePoint apps, Power Apps, websites, forms?
I mean, this is priceless stuff. I guess.
Don't answer yet, because if you sign up right now,
Ooh.
we'll also add a Q&A section at the end of the day. Now, David, how much would you pay for this workshop?
Well, but so I want.
But wait,
Okay.
if you register now, we'll also include coffee breaks and lunch. We'll even bring swag and candies to wake you up and keep you entertained. Now, David, how much would you pay for this workshop?
Well, the good thing is the price is already posted on the website. So if you register now and find out why people said this workshop is unlike anything they expected, in fact, it was called a disruptor in a good way into their life, you will be able to find out for yourself. And hey, guess what? We've got discount codes. If you use Warner 150 or Bernier 150, then you will be able to take advantage of some discounts. We are pretty much the same person. We tried to get him to Huvid 150, but you're going to have to deal with our last name. So excellent. We hope to see you all in Orlando at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference coming up in April. It's going to be amazing. We hope to see you there live and in person. Thank you, everybody, for having fun with us today. Hopefully this was helpful in helping you make some decisions on what you want to attend. Hugo, thank you.
We'll see you at the workshop.
Woohoo!
Hey guys, thank you. You guys always bring it. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I think it also gives a real clarity about what to expect and how they'll be delivered. You guys are insane and much appreciated. Definitely on a long full day workshop, it always keeps the energy alive, and you definitely bring that in spades. So first of all, I want to let
horse around if nothing else.
Everybody should know that this presentation was recorded and will be available for on demand. I demand to see this webinar on your workshop page on the conference site. Once again, thanks for joining. This is a wrap for week 2 of our 3-week series. So have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And most importantly, we'll see you in Orlando. Have a great day.